Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. So today, Caroline, a former client of mine, has very kindly given up some of her time. So Caroline, welcome. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Thank you for agreeing to carve out some time in your day for this. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
And if it's okay with you, we'll just dive into the questions. That's all right.
yeah, that's fine.
Perfect. So I want to cast your mind back. It seems like a while ago now, but cast
Yeah.
your mind back to before you and I started working together. And I'd like you to describe and talk to me a little bit about what your life was like before we started working with one another.
So I suppose I was in a job which didn't make me happy. And I hadn't been there long, so I felt like it was um I don't know, just like another hurdle in my life. And I felt like just I was filled with lots of uncertainty and just a lack of direction with my career. I wasn't sure whether I wanted to stay managing or whether I wanted to go down a new path. And I was just struggling to identify my strengths and passions. And I just felt so overwhelmed with all of the challenges of finding what it is that I wanted to do or finding a new career after I've just changed another one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there's a lot of similarities between you and I because you had similar experience to myself. We'd had the hospitality, the recruitment side of things. And I think that's why we kind of clicked right at the beginning. And for me, I saw elements of myself within you. So that's why I was so confident I could help.
Yeah, exactly. Like I spoke to quite a few different coaches because I
Mhm,
think when you post on the platform, like loads of people contact you.
mhm,
And I think you were the first person that I spoke to, but you were also the person I think that understood me the most. So I think when I was speaking to other people, I was just I'd already made up my mind, and
mhm.
I thought I'd listen to them and hear them out, but I just wasn't feeling the same sort of vibe.
Yeah.
So I definitely think that I made the right choice.
No, I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. And yeah, I think once I'd spoken to you ahead of your story, head where you've been, what you've been struggling with, that's why I had so much conviction. I was like, I can definitely help this person. So thank you for choosing me out of the other coaches you spoke with. So with that in mind, what was it specifically you were hoping to get from working with myself? What was your purpose of hiring the coach?
So I think I just wanted a sense of direction, really. Like I was sort of sabotaging my own success without realizing it. I
Mhm,
was just sort of going for whatever position, gave me the most money, the most sort of responsibility. I think that was really important to me. But I felt like that wasn't the right direction to be going in, and I just was at an impasse as to what I wanted to do going forward, because I knew, obviously, you want to have money in your life, and you want to have a good career and stuff, but then what does that actually look like? And
mhm,
I think that that's one of the things that I thought that I needed a career coach to sort of help me find my path, instead of being putting so much pressure on myself and always thinking, oh, now this has happened and you're not going to do well, and you have all of these expectations of yourself. And I want to be in a good job with a good career, and I want to keep climbing and climbing. And I think that when there's sort of a barrier, I'm just sort of like, oh god, do I have to go to a new career now and start from the beginning again?
mhm. And it's interesting you say that because, of course, it takes a lot of self-awareness to know that you're sabotaging your own success. But what I'm really interested in, when you and of course we'll get to what happened shortly, but when you were first sitting down with a coach, did you see a way out? Did you see and envision this path of where you wanted to get to?
I think at the beginning I didn't. I think when I first spoke to you, I think I opened up quite a lot, and I
Mhm,
was just I was quite emotional, and I was feeling very, very lost, and I didn't really know what to do with myself. So I think that I'm very much a person that if I'm upset or if I'm angry or sad or whatever it is, like I will get over that. I just need to find a fix,
mhm,
and I will find a fix. So for this, my fix was, okay, get a career coach and fix the situation that you're in so that you're no longer in it. And I
mhm.
think that I didn't know at the beginning how much it would help, but I knew that it was a step in the right direction.
That's so nice to hear because I think that's it, is that uncertainty of not really knowing. But trying anyway. And I think that speaks to a lot of people who are, you know, where you were, in that sort of uncertainty, lack of clarity, feeling lost, not really sure where to turn. So I appreciate you being very transparent there. And I'm certainly glad that you decided to invest in yourself and take the leap. So I'm really interested to know, what would you say has been the biggest thing you've taken away?
I'd say the biggest takeaway is sort of that I don't have to put so much pressure on myself all the time. I think that because of like factors from, you know, growing up and stuff like that, I always put a lot of pressure on myself that I have to be the best at everything, and I have to, you know, be the best place in my career than everybody else that I went to school with, and all of those sorts of things. And I think that, you know, it's not really important. At the end of the day, what's important is that I'm happy, and that I'm in a career that I like, and that I'm able to do the things that I want to be able to do, like traveling, which, you know, I've said is a huge passion of mine, and that's, you know, one of the biggest things that I want to do. And my my idea was to get into a company where I can go and travel in different countries, that has lots of different locations. But at the beginning, I wasn't sure what that looked like. I was like, is that a travel agent? Is that an air hostess? Realistically, that's not what I wanted to do. Like, I didn't want to be one of those. I just knew that I wanted to travel. And I think that you pointed me in the sort of right direction, is to be like, okay, if you want to travel, then that's fine, but you don't have to be in a travel specific job to do that. Which was really important to me, because I do love, you know, management, what I'm doing. Like, people management is something that I really like doing. And I was doing in my old job, but it wasn't really people managing. It was sort of, yeah, like help desks essentially, and that's not what I like about it. I like having the human interaction and helping people. I think that that's really important to me. Like, when you were going through like what my values are, I think that that was a really important exercise, to see what's really important to me and what I can get out of another job. Because if I just go into anywhere and just think, oh yeah, like they have a few values, like maybe they match with mine, I think that having my own values and making sure that the company matches mine is a much better way to go forward. Because I think when you look at a career, you go into a job interview and you want to impress them as much as possible, but you don't think about them impressing you, which I also think is really important. You should interview them as much as they interview you.
Absolutely, 100%. And I've said this to you before, but you are the perfect client for a coach, because since day one, it was a case of, okay, this is what I want you to do, go away and do this. And you did it. You responded really well. You came back, you're very open-minded. Then you asked more questions, and then I gave you more feedback, do this, gave you more sort of intentions and commitments, and you went away and did everything. And I guess people watching this now, maybe they're watching it in the future, and they're wondering, okay, you were feeling lost, you were lacking clarity, you were a bit stuck, you weren't really sure where to turn, you were sabotaging yourself, and you wanted to hire a coach to gain that clarity and become unstuck and to find a role. So I guess everybody is kind of wanting to know at this point, did you get what you were looking for? And if so, what does that look like?
I definitely did. Yes, I did. I mean, I'm now have a job in a much better company, and everyone is so nice and so lovely. And I think that that came from a lot from, you know, your help essentially. You know, you told me the things that I really needed to hear. And I think not only did that help me in my interview, and even, you know, now looking at myself and thinking, you know, are these the right decisions? Etc. And also, you know, picking a company, I think, was really important in regards to that, because I think at first I was just sort of applying for any job just to get out of the current job that I was in. And I think that after all of our conversations, it was more of a okay, does this align with your values? Are you going to be happy? Because there's no point in just hopping from one bad job to the next. And so yeah, no, it definitely helped. And I think that I just sort of wanted to embrace all of the opportunities for personal growth and professional development, because, you know, I think that sometimes when you start something, you just sort of like, oh, why did I do this? Like, I'm just not feeling it, because you don't feel very good. And I think that you know, everyone falls down that pattern, but I was really like, I really, really want to be in a good position. You know, my career is important to me, and it's something that I want to keep growing and keep growing. And I think that I was just sort of like, I need to get out of this, you know, this position that I'm in, you know, because I am so stuck. And I think that not only, you know, your career advice, but also, you know, you said a lot of things like life advice, which was really, really helpful as well. And I think that just because of how you were so understanding, and you know, there was no judgment involved or anything like that, and you were just very open with me, and I think that that was really helpful for my progression. So yeah, no, I definitely had good outcomes.
Amazing. That's really nice to hear. And I really appreciate the kind words. And I always say this, but it's important I drive this home. You know, you made the changes. I just gave you the frameworks and the tools to make the changes. So yeah, don't forget that. But before I let you go, because I've already taken up a lot of your time, I just want to ask one question, because you illuminated it before. You weren't really sure, you know, whether working with a coach would help. So I want to ask, what advice would you give to others who perhaps are in that position, who are a little apprehensive of working with a coach, whether it's myself or somebody else?
Well, I think that you have to think to yourself, you know, is this going to be the right decision for me? And I think at the end of the day, if you are somebody that isn't sure what to do, and, you know, because there's so many options out there, and you're like feeling stuck like I was, or you're even wanting to go down a new career path, then I think a career coach is just a really good idea to have, just to sort of push you, give you a push in the right direction. And you know, that's, you know, you're so helpful, and really, you know, this is something that I am going to take with me now. So I don't think there's any downside to it, essentially, because you're going to get something out of it, even if it's not what you wanted ideally. Then you, regardless of what it is, you're going to come out with something in the end, and it's going to be positive, whether that be like a new job, a new career, what it is. So yeah, no, I definitely think that you should just go for it.
Thank you for your honesty, and as I said, it's been a pleasure to work with you. But I know you've been at work today, so I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And yeah, many congratulations for the new role.
Thank you.